tell the story of the contrast of our own hearts. We speak of the arrival of the victorious King whose victory will lead him to a cross. For to be redeemed, we have to speak of the cost of that redemption. Redemption is, after all, language about exchange. If we're a people who follow Jesus and we want to exchange violence for peace, we have to name the cost of it. If we want to exchange hopelessness for hope, we have to name the cost of it. And there's a considerable cost that we are faced with. There's a considerable cost that Jesus is faced with. So for us on this day where we remember his triumphal entry, this King, victorious and yet also humble, is coming to meet us and to restore us, we have to also then fast forward and point to the cost. If we are to be ones who do that, then we must also be ones who are willing to embrace the uncomfortable truth that happens as we fast forward to that part of the story. We won't tell ourselves the whole story today. We'll save some parts for Maundy Thursday and Good Friday and the services we have upcoming this week, but we'll get to the part quickly where that uncomfortable truth confronts us, we who have been confronting so much about ourselves in the season of Lent. And that truth is that when we don't like the exchange, when we're uncomfortable with the terms of giving up power and violence for peace and hope, we quickly move from shouts of Hosanna to shouts of crucify him. When we don't like what Jesus has on offer for us, because it is too radical a departure from the life that we like to live, or in which we have at least found comfort, we quickly turn our backs. This is our story. This is the story of humanity. So even if you're living right now, it only takes a quick turning on of the television or scanning of the headlines to see the way violence and power plays out in our lives. And if you think that's just about Ukraine or something like that, I would invite you to do a quick Google search. That might be the scariest one right now. That might be the one causing the most death right now. That might be the one in which the people who are dying and suffering look the most like most of us. But there are countless armed conflicts in the world destroying the children of God. And that's true today, and it was true 10 years ago, and it was true 20 years ago, and it's been true all along the way. Because humanity loves power, and we love violence, and we don't often like the exchange that Jesus offers for us. So as we turn ourselves to this story, and we remember that it's our reality now, how we in our hearts move from Hosanna in the highest to, yeah, let's get rid of this guy, release for us Barabbas, crucify this one. We don't like this exchange. Perhaps we hear this story as a confession. Confession about our humanity. In one of the traditions of the church on Palm Sunday, we won't say the confession that we are used to, where we apologize for the thoughts, words, and deeds that we've done and the things that we've left undone, and we say we're so sorry. Most of the time we say it quickly. Don't think about it too much. Instead, we'll hear again the story of Jesus' thoughts and words and deeds, and of humanity's thoughts and words and deeds in response to him, in response to our redemption, the offer of it. And we won't do this because we believe that suddenly we'll walk out of here and from this day forward we're going to be perfect and we will finally turn our back on the invitation to power and violence that the world offers us. But we will have counted the cost. We will know exactly what we mean when we say the words redemption through the rest of this service in our prayers. And when we turn ourselves to communion, when we share in the bread and wine, the body and blood that has been broken and poured out for us, when we say thank you Perhaps we will know again what it is we say thank you for. And so let us confess as we hear this story again, the story of our redemption, the story of Jesus' suffering, the story of the crucifixion. Let us confess, and let us also be reminded of the cost, that our hearts might be filled with gladness. Our hearts might be filled with gladness for the works of our redemption.